Thank you guys for joining me today. I'm here with Infoverity, a global systems integrator partner of Treasure Data as an enterprise data management consultancy based in Columbus, Ohio. I run Infoverity CDP practice. I support our clients through advisory, strategy, and delivery, and I manage the relationship between Treasure Data and Infoverity. Over the last 6 years of my career, I've been able to support countless CDP and customer data management initiatives, and today I'm here to share with you some of the pitfalls and common mistakes that our customers and other clients have made during their CDP journey, sometimes before they even start, that can derail an implementation, and to provide some actionable strategies and tactics to ensure the success of your CDP. Where we're going to start is all about setting appropriate business goals and how to measure value. So many of our clients are in a rush to get started with their CDP program, but they haven't done diligence to align commonly what I would call people fitting into a handful of different groups. Your core team, which is usually tasked with implementing the CDP and is usually focused on launch and the value of net new features and capabilities that your CDP has to offer. Your project stakeholders, which are extended business teams that are looking for the CDP to provide a lift to help them meet their KPIs, OKRs, and business goals. And your executive sponsors who have a bigger picture view and longer term look of using a CDP as a jump off point for helping to facilitate a broader business initiative such as a digital transformation program, data intelligence program, or simply being a more data-driven business. We recommend our clients focus the people across all these teams on the point of maximum value, which is usually 6, 12, 18 months after launch, depending on the complexity of your business and the use cases that you're taking on. CDPs at their heart are tools that amplify positive signals, customer engagement, and conversion, and help you to detect negative signals and where you're not getting the results that you're looking for. And this means that your improved ROAS, customer conversion, engagement, loyalty subscriptions, none of that's going to be met at launch. However, your operational goals at launch, centralizing segmentation, activation, increasing automation, being in compliance with customer consent and preferred channels, that's really the only value that you'd receive at launch. So build out your roadmap ahead of time, make sure you have an understanding of what you plan to measure and when you should expect to achieve the results, and socialize that across all of your teams. Start small with a handful of use cases with predefined value associated to them, and let success snowball into more success. The second problem that we commonly face with our customers is poorly defined CDP goals. So we recommend every single goal for your CDP is tied back to one or more of the following. The first being increased revenue, so everything from increased purchase frequency, repeat purchasing, average order value, or just simply getting the customers to convert more quickly. The second is decreased costs, the benefits of reduction of manual tasks and increased automation. There's also benefits of ad suppression to recently converted or low value audiences. Third, being compliant with ever-changing compliance and data privacy regulations. So whether this is GDPR and CCPA or anything that might be industry specific. We have a client, for example, that's in the financial services and retail industry that needs to abide by RESPA regulations. And so this governs how they can reach their customers across channels, cross-position products, and ultimately their marketing strategy and using their CDP. And the last is that we do recognize that CDPs are enterprise initiatives that help you build the business of the future. So strategic enablement, we get excited about use cases that aren't your typical 101 level CDP use cases. How can we use the insights from the data that's captured inside of your CDP to identify opportunities for market expansion, whether that's audiences that are performing particularly well within a specific product segment, or even using the insights inside of your CDP as a jump-off point for understanding where you should be investing in net new products within a product line. So how do you actually know if you're succeeding? So we spend a lot of time with our customers in what we call baselining. So we have customers that want to improve customer engagement rates, a number of impressions across different channels, repeat purchasing frequency, loyalty signups, but they don't already measure those today. So we spend time getting a historical reference point in order to actually emphatically say that we've had the benefits and the outcomes that we've strived to accomplish with our CDP, and measure them over time to see how those evolve. And the second is benchmarking, which is for your specific industry and your business, where should the goalposts be set? So using everything from your own network and talking to your competitors. If your competitors are publicly traded, that could be looking at earnings reports and 10Ks, using the analyst firms, McKinsey, Forrester, Gartner, to understand where you don't want to shoot too low, you don't want to shoot too high, so that eventually, if you're the one that's building out the case for the CDP, you're going to be measured against the goals that you set. The second broader category of why CDPs fail is all about data and technology. I'm sure that this is near and dear to many of your hearts as we're talking about a customer data platform. A lot of our customers don't have wide enough data to drive the personalization outcomes that they're looking for. We spend a lot of time with our customers early in an engagement talking about what kind of first and zero-party information they actually have. So I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with customers that are like, we want to invest in a CDP to drive personalization. We're like, that's great. What kind of data are you capturing? They're like, here's a list of emails. And so what kind of demographic, geographic, firmographic, behavioral, transaction, product interest, consent information are you actually capturing that's going to allow you to drive the personalization outcomes you're looking for? So what we recommend is building out your first and zero-party data strategy to collect context-relevant information. Be thoughtful about when you collect that information. An example of a company that does this really well that everyone would be familiar with is Nike. So if you've ever downloaded the Nike app, you go through the process, you download the app, they will ask you a bunch of questions as soon as you sign up. How old are you? What type of activities do you like to do? What kind of products are you interested in? Where are you located? Are you male, female? And as soon as you're done filling out that form, you will see live in the app how the app manifests itself to curate your experience. So be very thoughtful about when and what we capture and use that to generate trust with your customers and personalize a better experience. The second problem is the other side of the coin, which is lacking deep enough data to enable specific use cases. Typically, this comes into place with machine learning and predictive analytics, where having a large data volume is important in order to generate predictive models. So this could be anywhere from a couple thousand records up to 100,000 records in that low to medium range, depending on the complexity of the model that you're building. So the solution here is really understanding your data before you get too far down the path of trying to support one use case. So we recommend all of our clients leverage data analysis and profiling tools, or even just SQL to understand what kind of data is in your environment, how complete it is, how accurate it is, and also recognize when it's appropriate to leverage third-party data sources. So it may not be appropriate to ask your customers if they're married, what their household income is, their credit scores, but that might determine how you want to engage with them. The second problem is a lack of focus during data onboarding. I actually had a conversation with a CDP customer that is not here, not an active customer of ours, but they're not here today, but they spent 9 months onboarding 20 to 30 systems worth of data across all their product lines and their brands, and they're about to spend the next year trying to figure out how to drive value out of that data. So that lack of focus during data onboarding means that all of your business sponsors who ultimately are sitting behind the CDP are wondering, when are we going to get the benefits of this CDP? And now they're trying to show value. Do not make your CDP a solution in search of a problem. What we recommend doing is tying back all of your highest value data to one or more of the following. So one, is this data useful for creating audiences and for segmentation? So is this something that is ultimately going to be driven to, or be used to determine how we engage with this person in a one-to-many personalization framework? Two, is it useful for activation? So if we want to engage with someone via SMS, one, do we have their phone number? And two, are they consented on that channel? Is that a preferred channel? Three, anything that's useful for identity resolution and creating that single view of customers. So this could be anything from web cookies to my demographic information, any shared keys that sit across your systems that may interact with each other behind the scenes. And four, this is a bit more ambiguous, but could this be a valuable input variable for any predictive analytics and machine learning models? So we recognize that you might not always know that from the start, but if you have a hypothesis that you want to test against a statistical model, this would be the bucket that we would think about onboarding that data in order to test those models and get the value out of those. So probably anyone in this room, with very little exclusion, has seen some version of this architecture before. And a lot of our customers use this as a good starting point for thinking about where CDPs should sit inside of your enterprise landscape. But don't give enough diligence to how having a CDP is going to actually impact your entire enterprise architecture. So in this generic view of how CDP should interact with your systems, you have operational systems, web and mobile, that collect and author customer information. You've got your CDP as a centerpiece for onboarding that information and making sense of it. And then you activate across channels, whether that's email, marketing automation platform, any social or paid media channels, et cetera. But how would this change if you had an MDM solution? So many of our customers already have a single view of customer that may not have the full behavioral transactional information that's actually going to be used to drive marketing initiatives. And so that changes where CDP should sit in your architecture. What about if you have an EDW? So let's say that you already have a mature data science team that's building predictive models. How should the CDP onboard that information and stitch it back with your customer? What if you have a marketing automation platform that you're already doing journey automation in? How does that change the mix of what you'd expect the CDP to do? What about redundant systems? Let's say your business is grown through merger and acquisition. Our recommendation is that you spend a lot of time up front mapping out the cross-system interactions and have an understanding of the features and functionality that people are going to be doing to do their job, using to do their jobs, and what the CDP is ultimately going to be responsible for. Partner across your IT organization, your enterprise architects, your legal, data governance teams, networking teams, information security, treasure data, and SI partner to ultimately understand where should CDP sit in your landscape, what is the integration strategy for engaging with your inbound and outbound systems, and making sure that this is sound before getting too deep in your implementation. And last but not least, the easiest thing to talk about, the hardest thing to make happen in practice is organizational change and forcing adoption. So we spend a lot of time with our customers up front talking about these things. It's easier said than done, and every organization is a little bit different politically and culturally on how to actually enforce organizational change. Some things that we've learned, we recognize that CDP usually sits at the center of your CX, marketing and IT teams. There could be other folks involved depending on your specific organization. For example, if you're a B2B business that does a lot of account-based marketing, throw sales into this mix. We typically see that there's a lot of misalignment across all of these different groups and the people that represent them. What we recommend is identifying one or a handful of people who are your CDP champions who have an understanding of the value of a CDP, and they continually socialize and act as a liaison across all of these different groups in order to make sure that everyone's in lockstep through the entire process. On the flip side, we frequently see a lack of upfront focus on end user and stakeholder training. So what we absolutely don't want to happen during a project is we wait until 3 or 4 weeks before launch to have the end users go take treasure data training and start learning about the treasure data solution. What we recommend is early and upfront awareness, skill building, and knowledge transfer. We want to pull our clients along through the entire implementation process to make sure that people are comfortable with not only what is a CDP, how does that change how I do my job, but what is treasure data in this case, and what is unique about treasure data, and have them take the technology training up front, and then we can train them on the specific solution that we build to curate to their needs. The last is a maybe bigger picture on operational change management, a lack of solution adoption and facilitation of organizational change. We recommend a handful of basic OCM principles in order to actually drive a successful CDP. So one, form the collaborative and cross-functional team. Make sure that there's shared value and understanding of ownership across whether it's your technology partners in IT or whether it's a business partner, service, sales, support, marketing, CX, digital. 2, invest in training and support. Make sure that you're providing adequate training and you're getting feedback from your team throughout the entire life cycle of your CDP so that you can better serve them and make sure they're getting value out of the tools. 3, prioritize stakeholder engagement. It's really important not to only keep people engaged during the procurement of a CDP and at launch, but throughout the entire life cycle of your CDP. CDPs are living, breathing solutions, and your business partners' needs are going to change over time. Build advocacy, gather their feedback, address any concerns that they have. And finally, implement a communication plan. Oftentimes we see that clients are really invested in this during the initial project, the phase 1 of launching, but this again should be part of a living, breathing readout to greater communicate the value of the CDP, the KPIs, OKRs that the CDP is helping you unlock, and the value across the business. Kind of a fun one that we've had a lot of success with is road showing successes. So if you have a multi-brand organization, for example, where one brand, the champion from that brand really gets it, and you might be getting pushback on, I don't think I need a CDP from the other 2 brands or a specific business line. Great, go partner with the people who get it and understand the value, and then show that value across the other members of your team and your business. And with that, I know I got the 2-minute warning more than 2 minutes ago, so thank you guys all for joining. I am over there if anyone has any specific questions.